James over the middle, and it's caught by Houston. He breaks through 2 tacklers. He's ahead of everyone. He's going down the far sideline, down to the 30-yard line. He's 10 yards ahead of the field. A touchdown. Wow, 81 yards.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Welcome to the Gridiron. Well, PFF ain't got no love for the Giants when it comes to their offensive line. Got the Giants ranked 32nd. Cleveland Browns got number 1, and the Indianapolis Colts number 2, and all the way on down to number 32 with the Giants. I tell you, I'm very anxious to see that the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be a nice dogfight this year. I'm really anxious to see that. But with the Giants and PFF, I mean, you can't, it's just PFF. That's all it is, right? But you can't really blame them at all. I mean, the Giants at times were pretty brutal last year with their offensive line, and they wound up like Kevin Zeitler. They let him go. Their best offensive line, they let him go, and we replaced them, but now there's somebody who's better. So in the eyes of PFF, when you're pretty bad last year, and you let your best offensive lineman go, and you don't really replace them, you're going to be worse. So, they got us number 32. It is what it is. But in all fairness to PFF, they said, Nick Gates, I mean, last year, he did well at center, first year being a center, okay? He graded out overall to 59.7, which was 29th, okay, as far as with centers, okay? Right? Andrew Thomas, right? Last year he was injured, and I expect definitely, without question, this year he will be better, okay? His pass blocking grade, right, was a 54.7, which was 82nd out of 89 tackles to qualify, all right? Not good at all. Matt Parrott did good. He only had 150 snaps, but he graded out at 69.7. So I'll tell you what, I mean, 69 point, that doesn't mean he's going to be 69.7 forever, but it's promising. 69.7, that's promising. And I hope, he's the man. That would be absolutely fantastic. 6'7", man, what a monster. Oh, I love the guy. And he had Will Hernandez last year. I mean, he graded out at 58.1. His pass blocking grade was a 50.9. He's been in the league for 3 years. He should be getting a little bit better, and he's basically kind of just getting worse and worse and worse. And that is a big year for him. I mean, especially if the Giants are going to maybe think about re-signing him. But if the Giants don't re-sign him, somebody will, without question. I mean, if after the Giants let Eric Flowers go, if somebody jumped on Eric Flowers, somebody's definitely going to jump on Will Hernandez. That's for sure. It just depends upon will the Giants be able to afford it or not. Then you got Shane Lemieux, okay? He graded out at 32.2. I mean, oh my God. His run blocking grade was better. It was a 45.3, which is still pretty bad, okay? But his pass blocking grade, 16.9. I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, what do you expect from Pro Football Focus? I mean, with grades like that, you can see why they had us at number 32 overall. Now with Shane Lemieux, I mean, his last game against the Cowboys, okay, he graded out a 58.4. The last couple games didn't do too bad, okay? But when we played Cleveland, his pass blocking grade was a 0. I mean, brutal. A 0. I mean, oh my goodness. So that's why we're 32. It is what it is. Now, it helps if the guys play together. The more snaps they get together, the more they know what the strengths and weaknesses are of the guys next to them, the better they're going to play. That's not always easy. You got to win, And if you're not winning, I mean, it's very, very difficult when you got people's jobs on the line, like Dave Gettleman's job's on the line, just to keep the same offense, keep them together for a couple of years. We'll go 4-12 3 years in a row. Just let them play together. I mean, it's not that easy. You know, as I said, you gotta have the guys, but if they play together, that would be absolutely huge. Now, some of the problem also is you got guys in positions that they've never played before, like Nick Gates. I mean, last year it's his first year playing center. When he was in college, I mean, 2015 he was at right tackle. 2016 and 2017 he was at left tackle. Now we got him playing center. You know, Will Hernandez from 2014 to 2017, his whole time in college, he was a left guard. Now we got him at right guard. Now you can just say, yeah, just the guard's a guard now, but I mean, it's the footwork. Things are different. It's not that easy. Now, if he was struggling over at left guard, you know, he might be struggling over at right guard. Shane Lemieux, I mean, maybe possibly keeping him there because, you know, maybe he's the worst of the bunch, and his whole time when he was playing with the Ducks in college, he was a left guard. So let's keep him where he's familiar, and let's see if we can work with that. Possibly that's the reason why they got Will Hernandez moving over to right guard. Then you got Andrew Thomas, who in college, 2017 played right tackle. 2018 and 19, he was a left tackle. So he's played both tackles. So he's familiar with the right and left, okay? And then Matt Parent, okay, he played 2016 and 2017. He was the left tackle for Connecticut. 2018, 2019, he was right tackle. Okay, so he's played both. So he's familiar with that. So we got guys that are familiar, you know, some guys. I mean, but, you know, we got Nick Gates and we got Will Hernandez playing, you know, positions they're not really comfortable with. And I said, then you got guys, you know, Kevin Zeitler was there all last year. No, he's not there anymore. Then you had Nate Solder, you know, who wasn't there last year. Not that we want him in the lineup maybe this year either, but, you know, I mean, you got to get the guys in there. You got to get them playing, and if you don't start winning, you know, things got to change. So if we can win and keep the guys in there, keep them playing, keep them healthy, that would be absolutely huge. Now, just to go to show you, I mean, sometimes it's not, you know, the guy, it can be coaching. So Rob Sale and Pat Flaherty, you know, they got their work cut out for them. Now, can the Giants go from number 32 and maybe next year be like maybe number 22, 21, or 20 something? Absolutely, sure. With some good proper coaching, absolutely. I mean, can they go into the top 10 next year? I really don't see that happening, you know. But can they make a nice little jump? Sure, absolutely. I mean, if the coaching is there. And just to go to show you, okay, what coaching can do. Okay, 1958, the Green Bay Packers. They were 1-10-1 on their offensive line. They had 3 future Hall of Famers. Okay, they had Jim Ringo, center. Jerry Kramer was guard. Forrest Gregg was tackle. 3 future Hall of Famers, and they were 1-10-1. Their coach was Ray McClain. Okay, and then Nick Skorich was their line coach. All right, and they were 1-10-1. They averaged 4.1 yards per carry. They averaged 118 yards a game. Okay, after 1-10-1, they cleaned house. They brought in Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi brought in Bill Austin as the offensive line coach. Okay, 1958, they were 1-10-1. 1959 with Vince Lombardi coaching. They went from 1-10-1 to 7-5. They went from 4.1 yards per carry to 4.5 yards per carry. They went from 118 yards per game rushing to 158 yards per game rushing. Okay, they went up 40 yards per game rushing. Same offensive line, same 3 future Hall of Famers. They went up 40 yards per game. And you might want to say, well, maybe their backfield got better. Something. No. 1958, they had 3 future Hall of Famers in the backfield. 1958, 59, they had the same guy. They had Bart Starr, Jim Taylor, and Paul Hornung in the backfield. 1958, 3 future Hall of Famers. They had 6 future Hall of Famers on the offense of the Green Bay Packers, and they were 1-10-1. Coaching, 1959, they're 7-5. Okay. 1959, they were 7-5. The next year, 1960, they went 8-4, and they won their Western Conference, and they went to the championship game. They lost to the Eagles 17-13 at Franklin Field, and that was Vince Lombardi's only postseason loss. Was a 1960 championship game. But 1958, they were 1-10-1. 2 years later, they're 8-4, and they went to the championship game. 1958, they had 4.1 yards per carry. 1960, they went up to 4.6 yards per carry, and 1958, they were 118 yards a game rushing. 2 years later, they went from 118 to 179 yards a game. They went up 60 yards a game with the same guys. Bart Starr, Jim Hornig, Paul Taylor in the backfield. Jim Taylor. Paul Hornig, Jim Taylor, Bart Starr in the backfield. Then they had the same guys on the offensive line, the same 3 Hall of Famers. They went up 60 yards a game rushing, okay, in 2 seasons. That's not easy to do. Today's game, it's more doable, especially when if you have like a Mike Vick or Lamar Jackson or somebody in the backfield, and when you got a quarterback that can run around and have defensive players leave their jock straps on the field because he fakes them out. That's possible. But back then, Bart Starr was a statue. Bart Starr turned around and handed the ball off to Jim Taylor, and he handed it off to Paul Hornig. There was no running around, nothing like that. They called running plays, and they handed the ball off, and the guys ran. Okay? And they went up 60 yards a game rushing the ball in 2 seasons. It was coaching. Same guys, coaching. Now, just to go also to show you, doesn't necessarily matter also where you're drafted, okay? Good coaching, you can be pretty special. Now, the Giants have 2 guys in the Hall of Fame, specifically just players, okay, that were offensive linemen, okay? Mel Hein, who played from 1931 to 1945 for the New York Giants. He went both ways. He was on a defensive line, also played center too. But he's in the Hall of Fame basically for being a center. In 1938, he was the NFL MVP as a center. All right, he went to the Hall of Fame. He wasn't drafted because it wasn't a draft in 1931, but all right. Pretty much the best offensive lineman the Giants have ever had is Roosevelt Brown. All right, he's a tackle from Morgan State. Got drafted in 1953. Played from 1953 to 1965 for the New York Giants. Okay. He was drafted in the 27th round, and he was pretty much possibly the best offensive lineman the New York Football Giants ever had. The 27th round. So it's a lot of it's coaching. Now, if Rob Sale's the man, he certainly has his work cut out for him. But if Rob Sale and Pat Flaherty, they can get this done, you can see a big jump in the New York Giants offensive line this year. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!